This radio program is PG-13. Parents strongly caution some material may be inappropriate for children under the age of 13.
The following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Phoenix, Arizona. It's Brother Mike back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Thank you for tuning into the program today. Today's Bible study, PTSD. The D stands for destruction. Hey, will you call somebody and tell them the radio program's on? I'll do my announcements. Those are fun. And then we'll get right to this teaching. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. Been a counselor for over 40 years. Can you imagine that? I've been on the radio for over 20 years. In fact, my 22nd anniversary is coming up next month, right here in 2025. HardcoreChristianity.com is a website. If you go there, you see all of our ministry services. We're downtown on 15th Avenue, just south of Osborne Road. It's the red brick building. Please remember some of our services. We have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. You can get personal prayer. We have a counseling center at the ADC. Give me a call, 602-636-5800. We'll get you on the counseling schedule. There's no charge for born-again Christians. Monday night is our Zoom service for ladies only. Wednesday and Saturday night is our Zoom service for everybody. Send me an email, mike@hardcorechristianity.com, and I'll send you the code and the passwords. Please remember our children's deliverance service the first Saturday of every month at 10 o'clock in the morning in the small sanctuary there at the Deliverance Center. And my podcast on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock on twitch.tv. Send me an email, mike@hardcorechristianity.com, and I will send you the code. PTSD, wow, this thing is a major league problem. And it's starting to ripple through our society. A lot of horrible things happening. The most recent one, as you know, was a highly publicized incident. I'll get to that in a minute. But statistically, in 2022, those are the last research data that we have for veterans who commit suicide. And in 2022, there were over 6,400. Now, among non-veterans, the report said that there were over 41,000 people in 2022 committed suicide. Really a shocking number, way too high, way too high. The vast majority of these people die and go to hell. It's a sad, sick story. But check this out. Just recently we had another incident of an Army Green Beret Master Sergeant Matthew Livelsberger pulled up in front of Trump Tower and killed himself and then set off a bunch of explosives in a Tesla pickup. There was very little damage, no one killed except Matthew. And of course the FBI got on the scene, and being one of the leaders of disinformation and misinformation in the United States, the FBI, which is essentially a legalized criminal organization. These guys, of course, come out and some bombing incident, they'll say it wasn't terrorist related. When it was, then they'll say it was terrorist related when it wasn't. And of course, this is one of the cases, the Trump Tower bombing that just happened a few weeks ago. They said, well, that was probably terrorism because the guy in New Orleans obviously, clearly was a terrorist act. All those people died. He got shot in a shootout. They killed him. But both the New Orleans bomber, the Islamic terrorist, and Matthew Sergeant Matthew, they both trained at Fort Bragg. They both served in Afghanistan. Livelsberger did 3 tours in Afghanistan. Can you imagine that? And both bombers rented their vehicles, their EV trucks. Electric vehicles now, I guess, are the best for bombings. They use the same car sharing app. So they said, yeah, this is probably related to terrorism. Of course it wasn't. It's just the FBI. If they say something and their lips are moving, you know they're lying. You disregard everything they say, obviously. But it wasn't terrorism. It was a horrible act of PTSD. This guy was sick. It was just sad. Sick and sad is what it was. He was 37 years old. He'd just gotten divorced on Christmas Day. His wife left. He'd been under mental health care since 2023. But he was given leave for Christmas to go home and see his family. When he got there, his wife left. When his Tesla truck blew up, very little damage was done to it. Obviously, those are steel vehicles. And he wasn't using typical terrorism bombs. He had firework mortars in the back and camping fuel containers and, stuff like that. But this guy had been terribly wounded in his last tour of Afghanistan. He'd been shot 27 times while deployed with Operation Iraqi Freedom. This guy was a highly decorated soldier, United States military. He won the Bronze Star for valor. Had several other decorations. He fought with the 10th Special Forces Group, and after all this horror hit him, he had severe depression and was diagnosed with PTSD. The D stands for destruction. It was a heartbreaking situation. Everybody was deeply concerned about him. Of course, he was having severe emotional problems. He had no criminal history. Had a background that was strictly vanilla. Everybody that knew him, his family and friends, all called him a patriot. They said he loved the country. He loved Donald Trump. He told people Trump was the best thing that ever happened to the soldiers. But he wrote a kind of a explanatory note that they found. I thought I would read it to you. It says, quote, "Fellow service members, veterans and all Americans, time to wake up. We are being led by weak and feckless leadership who only serve to enrich themselves." This was not a terrorist attack. It was a wake-up call. Americans only pay attention to spectacles and violence. What better way to get my point across than a stunt with fireworks and explosives? We are all diverse, and DEI is a cancer. Thankfully, we rejected the DEI candidate, and we'll have a real president instead of Weekend at Bernie's. Why did I personally do this now? I needed to cleanse my mind of the brothers I've lost and relieve myself of the burden of the lives I took. We are the United States of America, the best country in the world, the best country that ever existed. But right now we are terminally ill and headed towards a collapse. What we've been seeing with drones is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems, powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast. But throughout history, the United States, only we in China have this capability. Wow, what a letter. That's a painful letter. The special agent working the case was a guy named Evans. He wrote a letter, and here's part of the quote out of the letter, quote, although this incident is more public and more sensational than usual, it ultimately appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a heavily decorated combat veteran struggling with PTSD and other issues. If you know somebody who's a veteran and they're a born-again Christian, they're eligible for free counseling services at the Arizona Deliverance Center. All you have to do is call 602-636-5800. I'll call them back immediately and get them on the schedule. There's no charge for the services. We are not affiliated with the VA, of course. We're too intelligent for that. But if someone is suicidal and they're a veteran and they need help and they're not a Christian, here's the phone number to call. All you have to do to contact the Veterans Administration is dial 988 on your phone. All you have to do, if you know somebody who's struggling with suicide and they're a veteran and they're not a Christian and they don't want to come in for Christian counseling, 988 on your phone. And then when it answers and they give you the options, just press option 1. 988/1. PTSD is caused by severe trauma, not just the military, but in domestic violence cases, child abuse, and so on. Severe trauma opens a portal, a door to demons, and fear demons enter the person's body. They attack the person's mind, giving them sleep paralysis, chronic anxiety, fears, phobias, nightmares, repetitive bad dreams. These demons attack the person using the trauma they faced as their opportunity to get in and cause monumental death and destruction. This poor man could have been saved and delivered. We've had numerous people healed of PTSD at the Arizona Deliverance Center. If you know somebody who's in trouble, veteran or not, and they have PTSD from other reasons, 602-636-5800. Once these fear demons are removed out of the person's mind, they hide in the brain and they attack the mind. Once they're removed, the person completely recovers. Fear spirits are the root cause and the root promulgator of PTSD, post-traumatic stress destruction. There's absolutely no reason the person needs to load up a truck with explosives and park it in front of a hotel, kill themselves, and then set off while they're setting off the explosives. There's absolutely no reason for that. The Spirit of the Lord is well able to cast these demons out and heal these people of PTSD. You can be cured in Jesus' mighty name. See you next time.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.